Singapore Changi Airport, Addis Information Romeo, time 1320 Zulu, wind 330 at 5, visibility 21, temperature 26, dew point 25, QNH 1010. Remarks, no pattern work, no light aircraft accepted at this time, use of departure and arrival procedures recommended. Landing runway 2 left, expect ILS approach, departing runway 2 center, recommended arrival procedures, Alarm 1A, ASIN 1A, LR 1A, CART 1A, NAVA 2A, OBDO 1A, Reaper 1A, SERV 1A. Advise on initial contact, you have information Romeo. Singapore Changi Airport, Addis Information Romeo, time 1320 Zulu, wind 330 at 5, visibility 21, temperature 26, dew point 25, QNH 1010. Remarks, no pattern work, no light aircraft accepted at this time, use of departure and arrival procedures recommended. Landing runway 2 left, expect ILS approach, departing runway 2 center, recommended arrival procedures, Alarm 1A, ASIN 1A, LR 1A, CART 1A, NAVA 2A, OBDO 1A, Reaper 1A, SERV 1A. Advise on initial contact, you have information Romeo.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, Etihad 331 Super. 615 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north. Emirates 621 Echo Kilo, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 971 Super, ready to taxi with information Romeo. Taxi to parking, Emirates 621 Echo Kilo.
Singapore 971 Super, runway 2 center, taxi via Victor, contact tower when ready.
Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, ready for pushback with information Romeo.
FedEx 232 Papa Romeo, give way to aircraft ahead.
Give way to aircraft, FedEx 232 Papa Romeo.
Singapore 992 Heavy, taxi to runway 2 center, contact tower when ready.
Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 867, request taxi to B9 at the other terminals. Taxi to runway 2 center, Singapore 992 Heavy.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Singapore 867, taxi to B9 via. Singapore 076 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Taxiing to B9 via Singapore 867. Singapore Changi Ground, Air China 6889 Heavy, request taxi to F52 at the other terminals. Pushback approved, tail to the north, Singapore 076 Heavy. Singapore Changi Ground, Air China 6889 Heavy, ready to taxi to runway 2 center with information Romeo.
Air China 6889 Heavy, please check the user guide from the home screen for help using ATC instructions.
Singapore Changi Ground, Etihad 331 Super, ready to taxi with information Romeo.
Singapore Changi Ground, Air India 2615 Heavy, ready to taxi with information Romeo.
Etihad 331 Super, I'm sorry.
Singapore Changi traffic, Air India 2615 Heavy, taxiing to runway 2 left. Singapore Changi traffic, Air India 2615 Heavy, taxiing to runway 2 left.
Singapore Changi Ground, Etihad 331 Super.
Left on the next taxiway, Air China 6889 Heavy. Singapore
Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, ready to taxi with information Romeo.
Air China 6889 Heavy, taxi to F52 via.
taxiing to F52 via Air China 6889 Heavy.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, runway 2 center, taxi via Victor 10, Victor, contact tower when ready. Air
Taxiing to runway 2 center via Victor 10, Victor, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Singapore Changi ground, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, ready for pushback with information Romeo, requesting runway 2 center.
Air India 2615 Heavy, you were already instructed to change frequency. Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, hold position.
Singapore Changi ground, November 471 November Juliet, ready for pushback with information Romeo.
Holding position, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November.
November 471 November Juliet, pushback approved, tail to the west.
Pushback approved, tail to the west, November 471 November Juliet. Singapore Changi ground, Air China 6889 Heavy, ready to taxi to runway 2 center with information Romeo. Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 076 Heavy, ready to taxi. Singapore Changi ground, Speedbird 382 Heavy, ready to taxi with information Romeo. Give way to aircraft, Singapore 992 Heavy. Taxiing to runway 2 center via Speedbird 382 Heavy.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, runway 2 center, taxi via Victor, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 2 center via Victor, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Singapore 076 Heavy, runway 2 center, taxi via Victor, Victor 10, contact tower when ready.
Taxiing to runway 2 center via Victor, Victor 10, Singapore 076 Heavy. Singapore Changi ground, November 471 November Juliet, ready to taxi to runway 2 center with information Romeo. Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 380, request taxi to C23 at the other terminals.
Velocity 4117, taxi to parking, at your discretion.
Taxi to parking, velocity 4117.
November 471 November Juliet, runway 2 center, taxi via contact tower when ready.
Singapore Changi ground, Qantas 1 Super, ready for pushback with information Romeo.
Qantas 1 Super, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Taxiing to runway 2 center via November 471 November Juliet.
Singapore 076 Heavy, runway 2 center, taxi via Victor, contact tower when ready. Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, pushback approved, tail to the west. Etihad 331 Super, continue taxi.
Pushback approved, tail to the west, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November.
Continue taxi, Etihad 331 Super.
November 471 November Juliet, give way to aircraft on your left.
Give way to aircraft, November 471 November Juliet. Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 186, ready for pushback with information Romeo.
November 471 November Juliet, thank you. Singapore 186, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Thank you, good day, Singapore 380. Pushback approved, tail to the north, Singapore 186. You're welcome, November 471 November Juliet.
Thank you, good day, velocity 4117.
Tiger 131, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Tiger 131. Thank you. Good day, November 471 November Juliet.
Singapore Changi Ground, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, ready to taxi to runway 2 center with information Romeo.
Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 301 Heavy, request taxi to B4 at the other terminals.
Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, runway 2 center, taxi via contact tower when ready.
Singapore 301 Heavy, request frequency change.
Singapore 301 Heavy, taxi to B4 via Whiskey.
Taxiing to runway 2 center via Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November.
Taxiing to B4 via Whiskey, Singapore 301 Heavy.
Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, give way to aircraft ahead.
Give way to aircraft, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November. Singapore Changi Tower, Vietnam Airlines 106 Victor November, ready for departure at runway 2 center, departing north.
Singapore 076 Heavy, wind 340 at 6, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, Singapore 076 Heavy. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, contact Singapore Center on 127.0.
Contacting Singapore Center on 127.0, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
New Zealand 282 Heavy, requesting descent via Serve 1 Alpha arrival.
Singapore Center, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, with you at 7,600.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, radar contact. New Zealand 282 Heavy, turn right heading 020, descend and maintain flight level 280.
Turn right heading 020, descend and maintain flight level 280, New Zealand 282 heavy.
Lift hands of 695, with 89 heavy.
Thank you, November 22277.
Guangzhou Center, Japan Air 48 November, with you at 22,500.
Contacting Guangzhou Center on 127.0, Xanadu 654. Korean Air 005 Echo Yankee is 18 nautical miles north of Guangzhou Bayan at 10,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 1 left at Guangzhou Bayan.
China Southern 3528 November 27 nautical miles northeast of Guangzhou Bayan at 14,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan.
Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra is 29 nautical miles northeast of Guangzhou Bayan at 13,000 feet, requesting ILS approach any runway at Guangzhou Bayan.
China Southern 3528 November, turn left heading 200. China Southern 001 Victor Golf, turn left heading 310. Turn left heading 310, China Southern 001 Victor Golf. November 792 Foxtrot Echo, turn left heading 030. Turn left heading 030, November 792 Foxtrot Echo.
United 857 Uniform Alpha is 33 nautical miles northeast of Guangzhou Bayan at 17,700 feet, requesting radar vectors to Guangzhou Bayan.
China Southern 8066 is 29 nautical miles south of Foshan Shadi at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 1 left at Guangzhou Bayan.
Executing missed approach, Air Junior 1855 Romeo.
Turn right heading 270 and hold over GG 443 at 6,000, left turns, Wilco, China Southern 6327.
China Southern 739 Heavy, turn right heading 270 and hold over GG 443 at 5,000, left turns, do not exceed 200 knots. Turn right heading 270 and hold over GG 443 at 5,000, left turns, Wilco, China Southern 739 Heavy. United 857 Uniform Alpha, turn left heading 230 and hold over
Air China 1301 is 24 nautical miles southeast of Guangzhou Bayan at 8,900 feet, requesting radar vectors to Guangzhou Bayan.
Turn left heading 230 and hold over GG 058 at 13,000, left turns, Wilco, China Eastern 001 Victor Alpha. Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November, turn right heading 180 and hold over GG 003 at 6,000, left turns, do not exceed 200 knots. All Nippon 96 Heavy, reduce speed to 200 knots.
Reduce speed to 200 knots, all Nippon 96 Heavy. Air Juliao 252 is 12 nautical miles south of Guangzhou Bayan at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach any runway at Guangzhou Bayan.
Indonesia 1421 Super, turn right heading 280.
Turn right heading 350, maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right, India Bravo Echo November Zulu. Turn right heading 280, Indonesia 1421 Super.
Speedbird 1874 Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 1 right at Guangzhou Bayan. All Nippon 96 Heavy, turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 4000, maintain.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super is 7 nautical miles southeast of Guangzhou Bayan at 9,000 feet, requesting visual approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan.
Roger, Emirates 235 Quebec Papa. Air Juliao 252, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan.
Roger, Air Juliao 252.
Air Juliao 252, turn right heading 280. Guangzhou approach, Air Koryo 102, with you at 11,000.
Guangzhou approach,
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, descend and maintain 5,000.
Descend and maintain 5,000, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Air Koryo 102, descend and maintain 5,000.
Turn right heading 350, maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 1 left, Indonesia 1421 Super.
Descend and maintain 5,000, Air Koryo 102. Guangzhou approach, China Southern 8490, with you at 7,000. Dynasty 929 is 1 nautical mile southwest of Foshan Shadi at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 1 left at Guangzhou Bayan. Dynasty 929, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 1 right at Guangzhou Bayan. Singapore 887, turn right heading 280. Roger, Dynasty 929. Turn right heading 280, Singapore 887. Indonesia 1421 Super, turn right heading 050.
Guangzhou approach, Xanadu 654, with you at 7,000.
Air Algerie 777, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan.
Roger, Air Algerie 777. Turn right heading 050, Indonesia 1421 Super.
Vietnam Airlines 015 Victor November, contact Guangzhou Bayan traffic on 122.8.
China Southern 325 Heavy is 7 nautical miles northwest of Guangzhou Bayan at 10,800 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan.
Dynasty 929, turn left heading 050, descend and maintain 3,000, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 1 right approach. Indonesia 1421 Super, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Bayan. China Southern 3528 November, descend and maintain 6,000. India Bravo Echo November Zulu, contact Guangzhou Bayan Tower on 118.1.
Contacting Guangzhou Bayan Tower on 118.1, India Bravo Echo November Zulu. Contacting Guangzhou Bayan Tower on 118.1, all Nippon 96 Heavy.
Reduce speed to 200 knots, Air China 061 Heavy. Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 1 left at Guangzhou Bayan. Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, turn left heading 030, maintain 4,000 until established. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, turn right heading 280. Air China 061 Heavy, make a left
Turn right heading 280, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Making a left 360, Xanadu 654.
Making a left 360, Air China 061 Heavy.
Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra is 17 nautical miles south of Guangzhou Baiyun at 7,400 feet, requesting GPS approach any runway at Guangzhou Baiyun.
Stand by, China Southern 325 Heavy.
Air China 284 Heavy at 17 nautical miles south of Guangzhou Baiyun at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 right at Guangzhou Baiyun. Air Koryo 102, turn right heading 300, descend and maintain 5,000. Turn right heading 300, descend and maintain 5,000, Air Koryo 102. Korean Air 005. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, turn right heading 340, maintain 5,000, maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right approach. Turn right heading 340, descend and maintain 5,000.
Turn right heading 340, maintain 5,000, maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Dynasty 929, contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1. Emirates 235 Quebec Papa, contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1. Contacting Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1, Dynasty 929. Contacting Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1, Emirates 235 Quebec Papa. Air China 284 Heavy is 21 nautical miles south of Guangzhou Baiyun at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach any runway at Guangzhou Baiyun. China Southern 325 Heavy, descend and maintain 4,000. Turn left heading 020, Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November.
Maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final, Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy. Contacting Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1, Air Junyao 252.
Air China 284 Heavy is 22 nautical miles southeast of Guangzhou Baiyun at 7,000 feet, requesting radar vectors to Guangzhou Baiyun. China Southern 3528 November, turn right heading 280. Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra, turn right heading 280.
Turn right heading 280, China Southern 3528 November. Reduce speed to 200 knots, Air Junior 5221.
Air Junior 5221, descend and maintain 5,000. Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, you're aligned with the wrong runway. Please check runway assignment. China Southern 325 Heavy, turn left heading 050, maintain 4,000, maintain 4,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right approach.
Turn left heading 050, maintain 4,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right, China Southern 325 Heavy.
China Southern 325 Heavy, turn left heading 050, maintain 4,000, maintain 4,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 right approach.
Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra is 19 nautical miles southeast of Foshan Shadi at 6,000 feet, requesting flight following to Guangzhou Baiyun.
Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November, turn left heading 340, descend and maintain 3,000, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 1 right approach. Turn left heading 340, descend and maintain 3,000, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 1 right, Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November. Air Koryo 102, contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1. Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1. Turn right. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, Contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1.
Reduce speed to 200 knots.
Contacting Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, wind calm, number 1, runway 1.
Guangzhou Baiyun Tower, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, inbound on the ILS runway 2 right.
Number 1, clear to land, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, wind calm, number 3, runway 2 right, clear to land.
Number 3, cleared to land, runway 2 right, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Shenzhen Air 328 Victor Alpha, wind calm, number 2, runway 2 left, clear to land. Air China 459 Heavy, wind calm, runway 1 right, cleared for takeoff. Number 2, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Shenzhen Air 328 Victor Alpha.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 1 right, Air China 459 Heavy.
Etihad 442 Heavy, wind calm, runway 2 left, cleared for takeoff. Uniform Romeo Alpha Mike Zulu November Golf, contact Guangzhou Center on 127.0.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 left, Etihad 442 Heavy.
Mike Alpha Golf India Charlie, hold short of runway 2 left.
Holding short runway 2 left, Mike Alpha Golf India Charlie.
Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite traffic on final.
Info, Bravo 932 Sierra Heavy.
Etihad 442 Heavy, contact Guangzhou Center on 127.0.
Contacting Guangzhou Center on 127.0, Etihad 442 Heavy.
Air Genial 252, cross runway 2 left, please expedite. Crossing runway 2 left, Air Genial 252. Singapore 887, cross runway 2 left, please expedite.
Guangzhou Baiyun Tower, China Southern 325 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 2 right.
1000.
Local, Air G777. China Southern 325 Heavy, wind calm, number 3, runway 2 right, clear to land. Air China 459 Heavy, contact Guangzhou Center on 127.0.
Contacting Guangzhou Center on 127.0, Air China 459 Heavy.
Air Genial 252, contact Guangzhou Baiyun ground on 121.75. Mike Alpha Golf India Charlie, wind calm, runway 2 left, cleared for takeoff.
400.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 left, Mike Alpha Golf India Charlie.
300.
Holding short runway 2 left, China Southern 303 Super.
200.
Air Korea 102, exit runway when able, hold short runway 2 left, please expedite traffic on final.
50. 40. 30.
Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November, wind calm,
10.
number 1, runway 1 right, clear to land.
Number 1, clear to land, runway 1 right, Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November.
Number 3, clear to land, runway 2 right, China Southern 3528 November. Air Korea 102, hold short of runway 2 left. Guangzhou Buying Tower, Pakistan 3 Golf Kilo Heavy, ready for departure in sequence of runway 2 left. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, exit runway when able, hold short runway 2 left, please expedite traffic on final.
Guangzhou Baiyun Tower, Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra is 12 nautical miles to the south at 5,900 feet, inbound for landing.
Holding short runway 2 left, Air Korea 102.
Shenzhen Air 328 Victor Alpha, when able turn left and contact ground, please expedite. China Southern 303 Super, line up and wait runway 2 left.
Line up and wait runway 2 left, China Southern 303 Super.
Air Junior 5221, wind calm, number 2, runway 2 right, clear to land. Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra, adjust speed to follow aircraft ahead.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 2 right, Air Junior 5221.
Adjust speed to follow aircraft ahead, Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra.
Crossing runway 2 left, Air Korea 102.
China Southern 325 Heavy, exit runway when able, hold short runway 2 left, please expedite traffic on final.
Hulko, China Southern 325 Heavy.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, request permission to cross runway 2 left.
Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra, go around, fly runway heading runway 2 right.
Wilco, Vietnam Airlines 668 Victor November.
Going around, fly runway heading runway 2 right, Papa Kilo Papa Romeo Sierra.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 left, China Southern 303 Super.
Guangzhou Buying Tower, China Southern 312 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 2 right. China Southern 6327, wind calm, number 1, runway 1 left, clear to land. China Southern 312 Heavy, disregard last message.
Number 1, cleared to land, runway 1 left, China Southern 6327.
Air China 1301, wind calm, number 2, runway 2 right, clear to land. Number 2, clear to land, runway 2 right, Air China 1301. Singapore 851 Heavy, wind calm, runway 1 right, clear. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, cross runway 2 left, please expedite.
Crossing runway 2 left, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
China Southern 773 Charlie Zulu Heavy. Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, contact Guangzhou Buying Ground on 121.75.
Contacting Guangzhou Buying Ground on 121.75, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Guangzhou Buying Ground, Air Junior 5221, request taxi to gate 128 at the Terminal 1. Pushback approved, tail to the west, runway 2 left, Xiamen Air 2907. Guangzhou Baiyun Ground, Emirates 363, ready for pushback with information Romeo. Air Junior 5221, taxi to Terminal 1 gate 128, hold short of 2 left 20 right. Taxiing to Terminal 1 gate 128, will hold short of 2 left 20 right, Air Junior 5221. Emirates 363, pushback approved, tail to the west, expect runway 2 left. Pushback approved, tail to the west, runway 2 left, Emirates 363. Guangzhou Baiyun ground, Sichuan 011 Sierra Charlie, ready for pushback. Air Junio,
Guangzhou Baiyun ground, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, request taxi to gate 118 at the Terminal 1.
Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super, taxi to Terminal 1 gate 118 via Alpha, Lima 8, Charlie.
Taxiing to Terminal 1 gate 118 via Alpha, Lima 8, Charlie, Singapore 852 Sierra Quebec Super.
Thank you. Good day, Moonraker 67 Heavy.
Taxiing to runway 2 left via Charlie, Tango 1, Alpha 10, China Southern 6767. China Southern 3528 November, taxi to Terminal 2 gate 254L.
Taxiing to Terminal 2 gate 254L, China Southern 3528 November.
Guangzhou Baiyun ground, China Southern 325 Heavy, request taxi to gate 149 at the Terminal 2. China Southern 325 Heavy, taxi to Terminal 2 gate 149 via. Taxiing to Terminal 2 gate 149 via China Southern 325 Heavy. FedEx 9010 Heavy, contact Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1. Contacting Guangzhou Baiyun Tower on 118.1, FedEx 9010 Heavy.
Guangzhou Baiyun ground, China Southern 6327, request taxi to gate 273 at the Terminal 2.
China Southern 6327, taxi to Terminal 2 gate 273.
Taxiing to Terminal 2 gate 273, China Southern 6327.
Sichuan 011 Sierra Charlie, pushback approved, tail to the west, expect runway 2 left. Pushback approved, tail to the west, runway 2 left, Sichuan 011 Sierra Charlie. Guangzhou Baiyun ground, China Eastern 5314 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Romeo, requesting runway 2 left. Hainan 0429, request frequency change. China Eastern 5314 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the west, expect runway 2 left. Pushback approved, tail to the west, runway 2 left, China Eastern 5314 Heavy. Taxiing to runway 2 left, Emirates 363. Thank you, good day, China Southern 325 Heavy. Guangzhou Baiyun ground, Xiamen Air 2907, ready to taxi with information Quebec. Xiamen Air 2907, taxi to runway 2 left, contact tower when ready. Taxiing to runway 2 left, Xiamen Air 2907. Guangzhou Baiyun ground, Olympic 350, ready for pushback with information Romeo. Guangzhou Baiyun ground, Starwalker 2770, ready for pushback with information Romeo. Olympic 350, pushback approved, tail to the west, expect runway 2 left. Pushback approved, tail to the west, runway 2 left, Starwalker 2770.
Guangzhou Baiyun ground, American 730, ready for pushback with information Romeo.
American 730, pushback approved, tail to the north, expect runway 2 left.
Thank you, good day, Shenzhen S328 Victor Alpha.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, runway 2 left, American 730.